Tell me one thing. You just spoke about something quite interesting, which has to do with how Shule Muntari, one of the players who has played 3 World Cups for Ghana, yes. 2006, 2010, and 2014, he was found through the school sports system.
Milo Games.
Milo Games.
Yes.
There are also other sporting disciplines, as in athletics, as in even this
volleyball, basketball.
And all that. And I remember when I was in secondary school, and as much as I was a terrible player.
That's right. But you played.
Yeah, I did.
Irrespective.
In fact, you know, I even played a bit of golf. I played a bit of hockey. So
why? Because the instinct was kept up in you. Your sports teacher will make things available.
Mr. Abel Peter, that was his name. I still remember his name.
That is it.
It's been like 15 years, but I don't remember.
You see, the interest was there, and the people were interested, so the teachers were serious. Sometimes not even a technical person, but just a teacher who is a performer will take you through. But these days, no, not at all. Everything is academics, 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 and in the academics we are not seeing it. Because for a child, right, to have the energy, the stamina, or whatever it is to go, you need to be physically fit. This is a sound mind is found in a sound body. So it isn't like for nothing that our, predecessors, so that's our forefathers, made sure that we combine academics with sports. It's an integral part of the academic program. But once it's being relegated, that is it. You go and sit down, you can't even walk. No, the kids are too feeble because they don't exercise. If you are young and you don't exercise, what are you doing to yourself?
I'm sure when you were in the system, served as district coordinator and all that, I'm sure probably you saw stuff that kind of suggested that the school sports system was taking a nosedive. What did you do as a technical man to advise that if we don't take our time, within the next 5, 6, 7, 10 years, we'll be losing massive talents?
Thank you. We always had federation meetings. The whole technical men in the country and women, we met annually. Then it came biennially. We meet and discuss sports. For about a week, the national coordinator will assemble all PE personnel. Then we go and sit for about a week to discuss and give proposals. These proposals never got anywhere. It was something we were doing at the time. But when we realized that there was nothing coming out, because imagine the whole country, PE personnel will meet. We divide ourselves into groups, the various disciplines, then we interrogate the system as it was, and where we are going to, what we need to do. All these things were done. But, the policy makers and the politicians, let me be frank, this time around, we are not being ruled by the National Development Agenda. We are being ruled by manifesto. You understand? So now, when I come as a leader of this country, as a president, this and that's what I'm going to do, whether it conforms with the National Development Plan or not. And sometimes we promise so much that once we even forget some of the promises we did.
That's quite an interesting one.
Yes. And therefore, when we allow ourselves to be, ruled by manifesto of a group of people, not the National Development Agenda, then, for instance, I was fortunate to be a member of the NYA board, National Youth Authority, when I was in office. We realized that no, the youth, the teeming youth, need some centers, because at the time, how many sports stadiums do we have? So we sought out to build 10, we called them at the time, youth
resource
centers. It started very well. We made sure things were going on. Then it curtailed. No, actually, that board was dissolved when the second term of the president came. I was no more a member. I had then left office to Nanabi has left. Yusuf, the current Minister for Sports, is now an honorable MP.
Yeah.
He's left the board. Our board chair then was Francisca Otin, the youngest MP at the time.
Yeah.
She was the board chair. Slightete, English Amanfro, was the CEO. And we were very busy building this stadia. We call them youth resource centers, yes, across the country. The Volta one hurriedly was put into place for the last Independence Day. These were the structures were massive. These were the structures we were putting up, but it died down. But as I speak now, Hajide Honorable is trying to pick the one after the other to make sure he completes it. My Bolga festival should have taken place in that facility because we were hopeful.
Yeah, I remember after the 2017 festival, you were moving the next festival to Bolga. Exactly.
We were hopeful it to be ready because the rate at which we were going, then suddenly the contractors, whether they started misbehaving or because we knew there was money at NYA to be able to do these things. Dilly-dally, dilly-dally, dilly-dally.
Would you say it is due to lack of political will for some of these things to happen? Because it's the politicians who take the decisions.
That's what I'm saying, that some decisions are taken without the technocrats.
No, even if the technocrat is involved and the technocrat offers an advice, and because the politician has got a political interest, definitely he will have to take a political decision.
So you want me to tell you that? You know it.
But that's the obvious question that I'm asking.
No, you see,
you have been there, you have interacted with them, and you have a perfect picture of how the system was and how we can get better.
The question is, if we have sought out to do that project, and we give ourselves time, by the end of the tenure of the first term of the president, we would have commissioned all the 10 resource centers. And if it didn't happen, so the question is, why? You understand? Why? What happened? So we leave it as it is.
No, we cannot leave it as it is. Because
no, definitely. No, I say I would do it. At the end of the day, I didn't do it. Or I curtailed. So,
as a national PE coordinator and director of sports at the Ghana Education Service,
headquarters, yes.
What were the major things you put on the table for the development of school sports in Ghana?
Thank you. When I took over office, already I was one of them at the grassroots.
Yes.
So I need specifically what to happen at the grassroots. So I needed to empower all PE personnel across the country. So I met my regional coordinators, told them what to do to meet all the district, municipal district coordinators. You know, we are well structured, such that when you say AB at the headquarters, it goes down to the last person. All right? So we came together. We already were in the system before I got there, so I knew what it was. I thought I was leaving the system because it was becoming bored. Yeah. So I became a director, oh, hallelujah. I'm not into administration, so I jumped out of sports. But I made sure in my district, they never lack sports. Equipment were provided. The coordinator, fortunately, was my mate. Imagine you are a district director and the PE coordinator is your mate.
Yeah.
So he lacked nothing. We did all we could, raising our teams and everything. And that went all through. At the point, I thought, oh, I'm not free, I've left sports. Only to be told, hey, go and be the #1 in sports in the country so far as education is concerned. So knowing all that was the background, I climbed up and then started fixing things. For over 10, 15, 20 years, I was the only one who organized capacity building exercise for all the technical men across the regions, across the country. So I divided them into 4. You come, we meet for a week. We go through developmental issues, retrain you, give you modalities, what you should do and what you should not do, and how we could revamp sports. And it was a shocker. And I did this to meet the return to sports after the COVID.
Yes.
I brought all of them round and give them training, retrain them, skill-wise, what have you. I discussed with my director general, he understood me, and they sponsored it. So we made sure, I also made sure that all sporting activities ran. Funding was provided for all sporting activities to run, right from inter-classes, intersections, inter-school, inter-zonals, inter-district to inter-regionals. From 2016 till I left office, we never failed. I remember at the point I was in my office when we were doing the under 13. All the guys were scouting around. I was the local, that's when they came in and said, Charlie, we spotted this boy at so and so and so and so. When I realized the boy was in a village somewhere in Sefi. So they wanted the boy, I said, oh, you relax. So how can we go? Where's the place? I said, sit down. I just called my regional coordinator that I needed this big, who is in charge of this district. He mentioned, I said, I need him. In my office, within 10 minutes, we contacted the boy and the parents and spoke to them. That was the structure. Sefi, a village in Sefi. Because when we organize my program, a lot of people come around, the coach teams and others, to scout. Yes. This is one example I'm giving you. So I have data. So when we went for these games, I have my own computer, the pictures of the kids, I have data. Calls India, she will tell you. Because we want to monitor them. We knew this was how we got the Sules, the Asians and others, so we always monitor. If you get to my office now, you see a lot of data and the kids by picture, by name, by areas. So we did this to revamp sports across until COVID came. And in fact, things were moving up. You remember the Almighty Azamiti? You remember Cape Coast? 2017.
I know.
You realize this boy didn't win the 100 meters at the end of the day.
I still remember. I remember the likes of Sarkodie. I remember the likes of Ansan.
Beautiful. This boy was not the best. He didn't win the national festival 100 meters.
Even when he was at the University of Ghana, he wasn't one of the.
You got the point. Meaning, at the time, 2017, when I was doing my thing, there were 2 or 3 people better than him.
Yes.
Historically, 13 records were broken in Cape Coast. You remember?
I was there.
13 records in one festival. Records that were 20, 15, 18 years old.
Yeah. There was one record which was like 24 years old.
Beautiful. It took me to do that. So if you ask me what I did, this was what I did. Making sure that sports were holistically revamped from the village, cottage there, up to the top. And the way we did our sports, you see, from the school level, every school in the country, you do interclass. Then you have sessions, you do intersession. Then every district is divided into zones. You do
is it a calendar that you provide for them?
Yes, I provide calendar from the headquarters. From day one, the entire year calendar. So my department always produce calendar for the regions to tap from and do their own programs. So it's sad that those days, we advise that, look, don't concurrently do everything, consult with your other colleagues. So when you're doing football today, that means this officer should be doing football. So we can come around to supervise. So sometimes they'll call director, if you can, this day I'm doing this day I'm doing this, as a Cynthia move, go to Central Region. Myself, I'm in the North. Just making sure that and they were, happy that the assignment I've given them, they are doing it to the letter. So sometimes they will inform you that, oh, Director, on this day, we are here, we are doing our inter-district. You know, the inter-district raises the regional team. If I have time, I go in there, just to watch what is happening, give advice, and then come back. My job is not only to say, though I'm the director administratively, but I have things that I do, and I have things that I do on the field. So honestly, I had them under my armpits. And everybody reported, because every year you give me a report of your activities, which I put together as a report for the unit. And 2020, I got to the headquarters 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2020. We never drop out. Basic, you know, it's biennial. Yeah. This year, basic, the following year, senior high, basic, senior high, basic, senior high. It performed within 2 years. And then the Almighty Cape Coast grew. I remember that they bumped into my office or cameras and said, my friend, what is happening? No, that year we were not to have gone for the festival after all these preparations. No, finally the FC, the financial controller, saw me on the corridor moving and said, "Hey, P, you people, are you sure you are going?" I said, "Oh yes, we will go." I smiled and said, "We will go," because I knew what I was doing underground. No, he's the financial controller, but we have the budget officer, the accountant. So I was on her, "Madam, please." Because I already told the director general that, please don't let it happen in our time that this year we will not go to National Festival. He said, "Okay, what can we do?" I said, "No. Just make sure the capitation is paid." One capitation is paid, but then we're about 3 or 4 in arrears, tranches in arrears. Ali, that is exposed, and so they should. The accountant called the controller before me that this is it. We are begging, this is it. So I was sure that something was going to happen. But unfortunately, what happened was not adequate enough, and that meant that maybe I should withdraw. I said, "No way. Whatever you can give us, even the 10 cities, let me know. So that if it is only football, only athletics are going to organize national, because my people have prepared." So he said, "Okay." I sent my budget, it was cut. I sent it again, adjustment, I sent it was cut. So when I realized this is what I have, I called my coordinator. They were all then in camp because they already set date and everything. And I said, "I will not sit down for this to happen." So I said, "Okay, what do we do?" You know, we're on platform. So I called all the 10 regional coordinators at the time. We started discussing. We cannot hold the festival, hold it like we were planning. Because at my time, I cancelled or I changed. You know, we alternated some of the disciplines. If we play volleyball this year, next 2 years, we'll play basketball. And can you imagine? So if there's a volleyball star, that comes to SHS1.
He has to.
And that year we played, it means, while in Form 3, we're going to play basketball. He will not see volleyball again. If it is basketball, by the time we play again, it's also completed, or in the final year, we'll not get the time to play. So what are we doing? So I brought all on board. So that alternation, I seized it. So as we were planning, I realized that no, I just called my coordinator. So what we have cannot take us through all. So let's drop some of the events. What do you say? Even they suggest that then let's drop some of the events because we were alternating. We said we're going all. So let's see. So that's okay. Drop volleyball, drop hockey, drop table tennis. But students are in camp preparing for this. Of course, you have fed them.
The emotional affection, the psychological trauma of asking them to go.
When I realized that this is the only way I uphold that flag of organizing a national festival, sometimes you take decisions and be held responsible. So I told them, okay, let's go ahead. It's me. What do you suggest I should do? They suggested, I said, okay, I'll hold it. Drop volleyball, drop table tennis, drop hockey. Because at the time, hockey to the kicks, the equipment were not there. So the information went out. Then people got angry. This man is causing financial loss.
I remember the stories.
I wasn't hearing. A guy in Cape Coast, FM, was blowing the thing. Me, I didn't even hear. You came to my office with machine and said, "Charlie, you don't know what's happening. Listen to me. What interview are you granting to Muftar?" I said, "No, my boss. Let's grant you an interview. Do you know what is happening? Do you hear what people are saying?" I said, oh, is that it? Let's go. And when I spoke, that guy became silent.
You offered the explanation.
Yes, because was I to abandon the whole national festival or drop some of the disciplines? Table tennis, 8 athletes, 4 boys, 4 girls. You understand? Volleyball, maximum 12. So we looked at it and said, no, let's drop. And it was a holistic decision. So people didn't understand. We realized that, asking this people to go home was not the best, but we had to do it to make sure that we did the festival. So I informed, by then I was in a good relationship with the various associations. So I called, hello, we can't do your discipline no, because they will all be there. Some of the heads of the associations come to supervise, because I give them the opportunity and even officiate. So I said, table tennis, I'm sorry, we cannot do it. Volleyball, I'm sorry, we cannot do it. Hockey, I'm sorry. I said, what? Director, why? Oh, I said, this is my headache. It's okay, wait, don't cancel it yet. Within 3 hours, table tennis brought a check. They asked me, how much do I need to be able to retain them? I told them, they brought a check. So I called accountant and said, I've checked for this discipline. Co-op it. Hockey brought a check and equipment immediately that they cannot drop it. We should do it. No, this is it. Because I'm in a very good standing relationship with them. They understood me and said, no. Then the association will sponsor the national festival. It's never happened before. You get my point? It never happened before. And we had the best national festival, as you can witness to.
Yeah, because I remember asking you when you handed over the flag to the Upper East for them to hold. I was like, if Upper East, they don't have any facility, so where are you expecting them to go organize
it? This is another issue. You know, it is all the region that had up-to-date facilities. We broke records in Cape Coast because we had a very beautiful and new
tracks
and field. If you go to Kumasi, you don't have a problem. Cape Coast, you don't have a problem. Tamale, no problem. But some of the areas, Nobolga, I nearly wept. The tracks.
I wanted to go with you.
Yes. No, when it was time for athletics, we were asking tracks to come offload sand so that we'll fill some areas. Meanwhile, we are coming to run. It was not easy. So that year I told myself, no. Though sports is meant to be rotational from this region to this, we had the time to, but I told them no. I'm going around the country to identify where the facilities are. So until further notice, likely we're building the resource centers. Until then, there are certain regions you cannot host national festivals because of the injuries and other things that we suffer. So I was coming up with that. So there will be specific regions. Likely some of the schools are very good for, if you go to Kumasi like this, Prempeh College or Pokuare, Wesley, they all have. So places like that, we don't have a problem. And the stadium is there for athletics. Even Westco Park, where they do athletics, Prempeh, they were very good. But the stadium was there. So that was what I also thought of doing, so that we kept the injuries. Because the very good ones all got injured. But so what happens in Cape Coast? Similar to what happened in Kumasi. As at the time, the Accra Tartan was wiped off, even as we speak. So we come to Accra, where we're going? Legon or where?
Or Elwak.
That is it. We went to Elwak, it was like a concrete floor.
Yeah.
The Elwak Tartan. So, infrastructure is another problem. That's why at the NYA board, we pushed that these facilities should be put in place. And I pray and hope they'll complete all, because Hajide promised, Pius, that they'll finish all. So that alone, and it's multi, basketball court, volleyball court, table tennis, everything is inclusive.
You mentioned something that was quite interesting for me, which has to do with the data of the athletes that you have during your events. Are you able to monitor their progress in their various schools and how you are able to let them come into the national federations and be developed? Do you have anything like that?
I have, fortunately. I task all my coordinators to make sure that these people are looked at, because they have only 3 years span. So after that festival, those who are leaving, we monitor this tertiary they went to.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That was how Azamiti got there.
Oh, okay. University of Ghana, okay.
We monitored. And then also, when you are doing national festival, the security services, they all come down. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Yes, the security services, the armed forces, air force.
Because I've covered some of them, so I know.
Very well. They also move in there, and we give them the morale. If that's what you can do, go. And a lot of them are doing very, very, very well. Because of this thing that I had with me, having the keys and monitoring the data, you know, I was invited to present the paper in Casablanca on our school sports system. The then Minister for Youth and Sports said, Charlie, let's go. I said, okay. We flew in there and I presented the paper on what we do in Ghana. About 60 countries, the US, Germany, France, UK, name them. And at the end of the day, the way the people clapped, it's like it is not, most countries do frefra kobo. You know, they identify some people, they just
like
take
they
them
don't have
and
a specific structure
exactly.
how they want to go about it.
But when they got to our structure is right from the village school, inter-school, inter-session, inter-class, inter-session, inter-school, inter-zonals, inter-district, then inter-regional. So by the time you get that lab, oh, you are polished. Because you go through different coaches who polish you up till that point. Because at the region, for instance, if you're in a regional camp, all your skills are polished. Exactly. Yeah. Your running skill, your playing skill, your jumping skill, your throwing skill, they are all polished. Because at that point, you know, the National Sports Authority, we have seasoned coaches for all the disciplines in each of the regions.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the team up with us.
I was just about coming there, where people often say that we lack the technical men to be able to handle these.
No, if you get into the national, the regional team, yeah, all the regions, the polish you, and then when you come to the national festival itself, we make sure the right things are done. And we have people all over the place who actually come in to help. So I presented that paper, and then Asiama asked me, so the competition, how is it? I said, boss, we are not member of, we are not a member of the International School Sports Association. How? That association was formed back in 1974 or so. So what do we do? We don't have to register as a member. I said, what? And I would like to say, come here. I said, yes. He said, go for the forms. So at Casablanca, I took the forms, I registered and paid the admission fee. So as I speak now, Ghana has gone international. After all our school activities, national festival, we select him. Every 2 years, we go. And that after the Cape Coast event, you know, Coach Otia Kente were all there. Yeah. I said, hey, select the best for me. So every discipline, they were just selecting athletes because I wanted to keep the data. So all the disciplines performed in, they selected athletes. Then after Casablanca, they said, okay, that year, the Commonwealth Games, yes, the promise they gave athletes, they couldn't go, they couldn't win medals, and so those allowances had been brought back. So they said, oh, Chief, are you ready? I said, yes, I have a team. So we're taking football and athletics to the International School Sports Association game. It's for under 13. Started planning everything. That was in the office when he called me and said, hey, see me immediately. So I got up, you see my office and the sports ministry. He was then the deputy minister for event sports. I got in a knock, the secretary told me, oh, he's not there, he's gone. I said, they might just call me that I should come. That was the day he was fired. So I said, he just called that I should come. So they've called him immediately, he's gone out. I said, So I called him, so I'm here, so okay, I'll be back. I'm on my way somewhere, so I went. Not knowing I was called to the presidency to be fired.
Quite unfortunate.
And
but
at the end of the day, we were able to go appear for the first time at the international. We met about 60 countries. And every 2 years, we were to go. So we were in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to prepare for the next one, but COVID came in.
Yes. Tell me something quick, because there's always this belief that sometimes, if you go back to schools, sometimes the head teachers don't even value physical education. So it also makes it very difficult for these children to come out. And in fact, we actually even believe that when it's time for physical education, that's the time for everyone to run to the house, especially in our villages. I'm from one. So PE time, we go to the house, we eat and come back.
It was happening. But when...
Has that changed?
Yes, to some extent. But when the leadership itself didn't see anything good with sports, so how do you even monitor those people again? But during my tenure, no. The coordinators were on the ground because every school has a sports secretary who is a member of the district or the zonal sports activity. So they made sure the sports secretary will not allow it.
Okay. Now also talk to me about the data. When you assemble these athletes, do you share with the national federations and say that these are the talents we had when we went for event A, B, C? So these talents, if the federations pick them up, they're going to be access to the country?
They come to me themselves. Because during the festival, all of them are assembled to monitor and select. So we work hand in hand. They all know. So some of them, swimming for instance, you know, we don't do swimming inter-schools.
Yeah.
But I was bringing it on board. Fencing. So some of the games I brought on board were fencing, cross-country in the loop. You know, those that were going the route.
Yeah.
No. So I changed cross-country on the road to the loop. You stand there, you see them move from end to end till they finish. We monitor them. Hockey. Hockey was played. How do you get to senior high school and then start training to play hockey?
In fact, that's
so I did junior hockey.
The first time I saw a hockey stick was when I was in secondary school.
But this time around, I established, we played junior hockey. And the Hockey Association provided material, bags of sticks and balls, and all regions had it. The next thing I did was athletics.
Yes.
You see how athletics
that's actually
is.
where I was coming to.
Yes, you see how athletics was. You go and sit down, you close your festival with one soccer match. Goal, you close. But I closed my festival with athletics. And anybody who came, they were sitting on tongues, because that is what is going to make you either win the festival or lose the championship. So during my tenure, we used athletics to end the festival at the closing ceremony. And when you come there, you have something to actually be happy about.
One interesting thing that actually happened was the fact that I remember the 2017 when I was seated next to my former secondary school headmaster.
Okay.
Yes, he was there. Mr. Bismarck Puli and then my PA teacher, Peter Avery. They were all there for that. And then my former school, Boko Secondary School, were there.
Avery was my mate.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
he had
wow.
a brutal accident. Thank God he didn't die.
I heard that was quite
Avery was my mate, yes.
And that was where Larwa Sakat, that girl from
Yes,
had an incredible run and all that.
Exactly.
I remember recently the Ghana Athletics, Ghana Education Service, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports came together to organize athletics championship in Kumasi just recently. Just how important that such synergy, if developed, will be able to bring athletics back to the highest level, because people look at school sports as an area that is non-existent anymore. And in fact, from where I sit, my opinion doesn't matter, but I think that a lot needs to be done if we really want to have talents that would fly high the flag of this country.
You see, these were some of my collaboration. No, I even brought the GFA Okraku to my office. We discussed how we could develop soccer and revamp it. We planned that we were going to create soccer academies in schools across the country. We discussed this. Before I left office, Otia Kenten and I, we got sponsorship from FIFA to play under 15 and select the team and go somewhere.
Regional competitions, yes.
Yes. So that program, Bawa is my close ally, the CEO athletics.
Yeah. He's not the president.
He's not the president, yes. He comes to my office, we discuss issues. So anytime I organize national festival, for instance, I have the photo finish machine, free of charge.
Yeah.
He comes with his team, they make sure, because as I'm telling you, that thing, if there was no photo finish, you don't know what it was like. Yes. No, I brought them all on board. So we worked. So I'm not surprised they organized this. But how effectively GS participated is yet to be. You know, I don't even want to go there. So honestly,
you will have to go there, because GS is they own the case. They own the children.
They own the kids. They own the children. Yes. So honestly, that program, you know, someone called me that, hey, what is happening? Another Interco in Kumasi. I said, oh, it's not Interco. We're organizing some national something. So if this collaboration comes, yes, it will work at the top, but still not at the grassroots. But if it happens that way, it means all those at the bottom will say, oh, there will be a competition, this level of competition. So they will start preparing towards it and get selected. But that thing that happened, we just had to depend on the good ones that we know. Fortunately, Ashanti region had done their usual Interco. Whether there will be national festival or not, whether the director P or national coordinator sends calendar or not, they have their own calendar, old ones. They make sure they do what they should do. And fortunately, the new regional director Ashanti, Dr. Mankra. He was our colleague.
Oh, okay.
He's a P person, a district P coordinator.
I see.
Yes.
As a man who have occupied the topmost position when it comes to Ghana school sports, what is that advice that you would have to offer for us to bring school sports back to life? The final one, then we wrap up.
Yeah. You see, we need to discuss sports holistically. And whatever is due sports in the national budget, in the national calendar, GES should ensure that, because we have a whole unit, and that unit is enough to trickle down and organize sports at all levels. But if today there's no money, tomorrow there's no money, and things like that, no, we cannot get anywhere. But yes, we can also follow the associations, the various associations that tap from us. Because there is no association in this country that doesn't tap from us. Even fencing, I introduced fencing into the senior high school now. It will interest you to know that our students were playing fencing internationally. But we don't play inter-school fencing in Ghana. But they were playing international, winning laurels. Our students were doing swimming and winning laurels. All the international competition we have in swimming is from our school. So I was there when the secretary walked to my office and said, oh, this is, I said, don't worry. The next time we're doing national festival, we have swimmers all over, across. Yeah. Some are just attached to some organizations. So those schools that are doing, those regions that have our athletes, our students are swimmers. If it's Kumasi, we go to Tech, we'll do swimming. If it's Accra, we'll go to Legon, we'll do swimming. So anytime we have festival this way, even if need be, that all interregional swimming will be taking place in another region where the rest are taking place, I will do it. So you see, we don't have to wait for policymakers to do their own thing. We need to push our agenda too and make sure sports is actually developed. We don't need much. We don't need much. And then also make PE another priority in the level of academic ladder. Colleges should make sure that PE is given what it used to have. They should train more of PE personnel, those who are living. So, you know, sometimes they leave Winneba. When they get to a school, a staff, they say, oh, we don't have time for PE. Can you teach English? Can you teach maths? Then they change you. Some will refuse, some will take it up. So PE personnel should be bold. They should love the profession and pick it up from where it has fallen. Make the notes for policymakers to know that no, it's not working. No, every discipline in Ghana, so far as sports is concerned, they depend on the schools. You can't get them from anywhere else. But if you don't pay attention to it, that is where we have come into, we have gotten to now.
It appears sports is no longer a priority when it comes to policy decision makers, because if it was, they would be interested in ensuring that at the grassroots level, the right structures are in place to ensure that it trickles up, because you don't invert the pyramid. You need to come from the foundation and climb up there. And one of the things you said that was quite profound for me was the fact that many people actually have now prioritized the book over the physical education side or the sports aspect of it. And if you really want to reposition Ghana sports, then it is important that school sports is given the priority it deserves. Mr. Emmanuel Domenya was my guest today on Prime Take. Thank you very much for your time. Continue to enjoy the rest of our programs. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm grateful.
Thank you. Thank you.